Back in 2013, one man ripped back the curtain on a secret that completely changed how we see the internet. It turns out governments all over the world were building a massive, secret system to watch, well, pretty much everyone. His name was Edward Snowden, and what he did wasn't just about leaking documents, it kicked off a huge, decade-long fight for the future of our privacy.
It all started with this one simple and honestly terrifying idea. The digital world we were all building our lives on, for work, for friendships, for everything, it wasn't private at all. It was being watched on a scale that was just unimaginable. This was the first shot fired in a story that would totally reshape the next decade.
So, what exactly did Snowden show us? He basically pulled back the curtain on this incredibly powerful and complex system of surveillance. Think of it like a global dragnet, designed to scoop up the world's communications.
At the very heart of this whole thing is a concept called mass surveillance. Now, this isn't about targeting one specific suspect, like in the movies. No, this is about collecting the digital footprints of entire populations, just building this enormous net to catch, well, pretty much everything and everyone.
You know, one of the most jaw-dropping revelations was a program called PRISM. The NSA wasn't like hacking into these big tech companies. It was way simpler. They were getting the data directly from their servers. We're talking Microsoft, Google, Facebook, Apple, all the giants. They were legally forced by secret court orders to hand over our data. Emails, chats, photos. It was a direct pipeline right into our digital lives. But PRISM, that was just one part of the puzzle. The NSA also had something called upstream collection, and this is where it gets physical. The agencies were literally tapping directly into the massive fiber optic cables that are the backbone of the internet. So as our data is zipping across oceans and continents, programs with these crazy code names like Dacrin and Pinage were just siphoning it all off midstream.
And this wasn't just happening somewhere else, to other people. Right here at home, under Section 215 of the Patriot Act, the NSA was secretly collecting the phone records of millions of Americans. Now, it wasn't the content of the calls, but the metadata. The easiest way to think about it is this. The government wasn't reading your letters, but it was recording the outside of every single envelope. Who sent it, who it went to, when it was mailed. And that data, on its own, created this unbelievable database of pretty much every American's call history.
So who was the person who blew the whistle on all of this? He wasn't some outsider or a hacker in a basement. He was deeply, deeply embedded in the system, working right at the heart of the U.S. intelligence community.
Edward Snowden's career path took him deeper and deeper into this world of secrets. I mean, look at this. From the Army to the CIA, and then as a contractor for huge firms like Dell and Booz Allen Hamilton, he got top secret clearance, and he saw how the whole machine worked from the inside. This shows you he knew exactly what he was looking at, and he knew the immense risk he was taking to reveal it.
So why'd he do it? Well, in his own words, it was a matter of conscience. He genuinely believed that the system he was a part of was a fundamental threat to privacy and freedom, not just for Americans, but for literally everyone online. Now, leaking these kinds of secrets, it's not as simple as just hitting send on an email. The way it all went down was something straight out of a spy thriller. It required extreme planning and what they call operational security. To meet the journalists Glenn Greenwald and Laura Poitras in Hong Kong, Snowden set up this whole clandestine meeting. He used encrypted channels to even make contact. For the meetup, he told them he'd be holding a Rubik's Cube so they could spot him. Get this. Once they were in his hotel room, all the cell phones went into the fridge to block their signals, and he stuffed pillows along the bottom of the door to stop anyone from eavesdropping. He literally used spycraft to expose the spy world.
The very second Snowden revealed his identity in that now famous video interview, his life changed forever. He went from being an anonymous source to the world's most wanted fugitive, and it happened literally overnight.
And the fallout was immediate. The U.S. government canceled his passport while he was in the middle of a flight from Hong Kong, trying to get asylum in Latin America. This left him trapped, completely stateless, in the transit zone of Moscow's International Airport for 39 days, just stuck.
Back in the U.S., he was charged with 3 serious felonies under the Espionage Act, a law from way back in World War I. These charges, altogether, carry a maximum sentence of 30 years in prison. And here's the real kicker. The Espionage Act doesn't allow for a public interest defense. That means, in court, his reasons for leaking everything would be completely irrelevant.
So, here we are a decade later. Why do these revelations still matter so much?
Because they set off this massive chain reaction that completely reshaped our digital world. It's a phenomenon that we now call the Snowden Effect.
The impact was just huge, and it went in so many different directions. Tech companies facing a public outcry kicked off an encryption revolution. Suddenly, services like WhatsApp were secure by default. In politics, the U.S. Congress actually passed the USA Freedom Act, which ended that bulk phone data collection program. On the world stage, learning that the U.S. was spying on allies like Germany and Brazil created a major diplomatic crisis. But maybe most importantly, this abstract fear of mass surveillance became a concrete, documented fact for all of us.
And all of this brings us to the big question. How do we actually view Snowden himself? The debate is incredibly polarized. I mean, the official US government line is that he was just a disgruntled employee who stole 1.5 million files and put lives at risk. But his supporters, they argue he performed a vital public service, exposing illegal programs and sparking the reforms that protect privacy for millions of people. It's two totally different stories.
And you know what? Public opinion right after the leaks came out really reflected this split. A poll back in 2013 showed that 55% of Americans saw him as a whistleblower, while 34% thought he was a traitor. This was not a simple issue then, and it's still just as complex today. But the world didn't just stand still after 2013. In the years since, the whole nature of the surveillance threat has changed. The fight isn't just about massive, dragnet-style data collection anymore. Now, it's about these hyper-invasive tools that can target individuals with terrifying, pinpoint precision.
Snowden himself uses this really powerful analogy to describe the new danger we face from commercial spyware like the infamous Pegasus software. He calls it a digital virus, a custom variant of COVID, specifically designed to defeat the vaccine of encryption that his own leaks helped make so popular. This new spyware can turn your phone into a 24/7 surveillance device, often without you even having to click a single link. It's scary stuff.
Look, the Snowden disclosures really defined that first great battle for privacy in our digital age. It proved that a single person could challenge the most powerful governments in the world. But as technology races forward and surveillance gets even more powerful and personal, we're left with a really critical question for the future. Who's going to be there to reveal the secrets of tomorrow?